You're good? You're set?
I'm good. It's my
Yeah?
first time doing something like this, so
Really?
I'm just trying to get into the spirit of things.
Okay. All right. Cool. It won't be. It won't. It's not. It's not too painful.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
Nice to finally meet, though.
Yes,
Nice to
finally.
finally meet.
You too.
We've been talking for a while, trying to see how we can work together and collaborate and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is nice. It's nice to meet you, Norah.
Of
I'm
course,
Ken,
you too. You
and
too.
this is Nothing Serious Vibes.
Brilliant. I'm
As I
glad to be
explained.
here.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, we just try and shine a light on East Africa from a diaspora perspective. I guess we're based in the UK, so from a UK perspective, the diaspora. So the East African could be, businesses, creatives, any kind of thing that's happening. We want to get involved and kind of, shine a light on it and talk about more about that and just help build the bridge between here and back home, essentially.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. So I feel like that's something you're passionate about, something that you try and do.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So you got the UG Collective.
That's correct. Yeah, the collective UG Collective. We were previously called the 256 Collective as well. I guess the aim there is we're like a community organisation.
Yeah.
We're dedicated to building cultural cohesion amongst Ugandans and diaspora, UK obviously, especially, London especially. But I guess I don't know if you want me to delve deeper into.
No, we'll talk about more about that anyway. Just wanted to kind of just give a little touch on who you are and what you're doing, whatever. But we can kind of take it back. So you're Norah.
Yes. Yep, I am.
And did you grow up in the UK or
born and bred?
You're born here as well.
Yeah,
okay,
born and bred in the UK.
Whereabouts?
So South London too.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof, you're a South Londoner.
What? I mean,
every time someone mentions South, I gotta say something. I'm an East Londoner.
Listen,
so.
I'm a South Londoner through and through.
Yeah.
I love our South people, but yeah, that's where. I've moved to. I'm East now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm still
welcome.
South London through and through.
Let's not get it twisted. Say Tooting.
Yeah, around that side.
Okay, cool.
Then we should say Southwest London.
Southwest.
Yeah,
all right,
no
cool.
need
Let's
to know where I live.
differentiate. Let's differentiate. That's cool. So you grew up here, school, everything.
Yeah, school, everything. I didn't go abroad. I wanted to. There was a bout that I really wanted to study abroad in Uganda. But then I got
younger years or
yes.
like
So year 8's the perfect time if you don't go beforehand. So year 8, the year that doesn't matter, they say. So we went. And then I decided to come back. I wasn't feeling it.
Okay. How long did you go for?
No, we went for like the whole summer holidays.
Oh, okay, of course. Okay.
But the plan was obviously, I was just like, I was focused on the school. An older cousin was there already. I was focused. I was amazed by all the facilities they had and whatnot. But I couldn't hack it. I'm a Londoner. So I came back.
Especially at that age. It's tricky to adapt.
Yes.
It's tricky to adapt. So
Yeah.
You've been born here, raised here. Yeah, it's tricky to adapt.
Yeah, I agree. So so everything's been done here, all education.
That's cool. And uni, that route, or was it just work?
Yeah, I went to Kent, University of Kent. Big up all of you guys. So I'm very proud of going to my university. So so uni, literally all until university level. Everything's been done over here.
Okay, but do you travel back to Uganda a lot?
Oh, of course. That's home. Of course, I have to. So I think I started traveling back 2015 by myself. So obviously my mum used to take me beforehand. Usually summer holidays, obviously. But when we could afford it. So we only had gone prior to that a few times. Then I fell in love with Uganda again. I became much more older and I was just like, I've got to explore this for myself. And so I started going back by myself around 2015, 16. And I've been back every year, a couple of times a year since.
Nice. That's interesting because it gets to a certain age when like now you stop going with your parents and you're going by yourself. And it's kind of, you find like a renewed love for back home.
Of course, because you're not going by what I found. I wasn't going by my mum's schedule. So I was able to be more free to explore Uganda outside of my the family homes, visiting family or, particular places. I was able to explore and see, tourist attractions. I was able to be a tourist in my own country. And so, that was pretty dope. And I think that's where my love for Uganda developed. And I made friends and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
Fair enough. And it's continued.
Exactly.
Continued,
yeah. I
love
think
that.
it's difficult when, again, because I only knew family and I don't really have a lot of people in Uganda around my age. So again, you're just chilling with aunties and uncles. It becomes boring.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah.
But then again, I was adamant of building my network there. And that's what I did. I will talk to people in Cafe Jarvis, you know, and that's where you start building friendships.
Yeah.
You start building connections. And literally through that, I started building connections with different people, and I had a network. And so you get to enjoy Uganda a bit more, isn't it?
More, right.
Especially
from a younger perspective.
Yeah. So, you know, I've done all the partying. I've done all of that, you know, whatever. Obviously, Kampala is the best place for partying.
Apparently.
I've never been. Come to Kampala.
You know, I've never been, but I don't doubt it because I love my Ugandans, so I won't even argue.
There we go.
But you've done Nairobi, haven't you?
Say again?
You've done Nairobi.
I have done Nairobi, not the partying scene. I'm not really. I've done the partying, so I didn't really go experience Nairobi vibe with the partying scene too much. But yeah.
Okay, Kampala. I'm due to go there.
You have to come, man. You have to come.
I'm due to experience that. So then, like, because it's interesting. Like, for me, I wasn't born here. I was born in Kenya.
Right.
So I've kind of always had that connection to back home. I didn't have to kind of learn it essentially. Where sometimes I feel like maybe if you're born here, and I can't speak on experience, it's a learn. You have to learn slowly but surely things and pick up things when you go back home and whatnot. Did you find that, or I guess you can't compare to anything else?
Back home Kenya or back home here?
Uganda, sorry.
Of course. Like, again, I told you I'm born and bred here. So my experience is UK. And I know there's that saying where in the house, it's Uganda, or it's your, do you know, your culture. And outside, it's the Queen, and it's the, you know, it's the UK, whatever. We kind of assimilated more to the UK culture. Yes, I knew about my culture, obviously at home, mummy taught me and everything like that. But it's still different to back home. Even my mum, we had conversations with my mum, she felt that, you know, having been here for some time, when she goes back, it's a bit sticky, you know. It's, you know, there's some things that you've missed because, you know, culture's developing, things develop.
Things change,
and the times that I've been going back to Uganda, there's always been some sort of development, whether it's the slang, whether it's the, do you know what I mean?
Music, the culture, just the culture.
Exactly. And I remember I told you I didn't know anybody apart from my younger cousins or older, you know, uncles and aunties and stuff like that. So, you know, I try to tap into their world and to see Uganda via their lenses. But again, I'm very limited because it's not really for me. You know, there's that, do you want to go to the disco? And they're naming certain places. Disco number one is a telltale sign. That's a telltale sign. And I remember my uncle was just like, all right, do you want to go to the disco? What disco do you want to go to? And he's naming names. I'm just like, I don't really want to go to a disco. Not meaning that he means club. Do you know what I mean? And so I think it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think I tried to learn, especially when I kept on going back a bit more often. You try to pick up. It's just difficult. But you try to keep in tune. And again, it's something that I haven't experienced. You know, these people, my friends, they've grown up in Uganda. Some probably have, you know, done their education abroad and stuff like that. And so when it comes down to connecting, there's some sort of, you know, you can connect a bit more easier, but it's difficult when you're not living there, essentially. You know?
What's the longest time you spent there in Uganda?
3 months.
3 months,
Yeah.
Okay. How was that? What was that like? As in, like, as an older or when you were younger?
No,
recently?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So that was during COVID.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was during COVID, and it literally, I found out a lot of my colleagues were doing Teams calls from south of France and all them things there from Nice. I'm like, hold on a minute. If you're going back home, like we're doing training and then people are I just went to the south of France. You know? I said, no, let me go home. So I remember I told my manager and I was just like, listen, COVID was a difficult time for us all, you know, especially mentally. So I was just like, UK's not doing it for me. You know, UK alone on a normal day, staying here for a year is now you want me to be staying indoors? So I said, listen, I need to go back home. I'm not coping. So I went back home. And it was fantastic, but it was during the election period, which was very interesting. And we'll leave it like that. We'll leave it as that.
Leave it there, yeah. But
interesting in the sense of I think you just see the difference, especially when it comes down to propaganda. Like, you know, I had a lot of people checking on my well-being and everything. Yeah. Not necessarily. I think it was more, it was for them. The people, and also the people that were over here that were worried about me when I was out there.
Okay, I thought you meant on the ground in Uganda.
No, ground was fine.
Yeah.
And so you begin to think, you know, they're like, we've heard on Al Jazeera, you know, so this has happened, and I was like, fam, it's like okay. It's okay.
It's all good, yeah.
But you do obviously don't get me wrong. Obviously, there is stuff still happening on the ground. The whole internet situation, you know, that opened my eyes, especially for me. You know, we're all.
What was that like when you were working? You had to work. You just
so literally. Thank God I stopped working before the whole internet situation. Down, I was on annual leave, so that was all right. Okay. So I stopped working from home. But yeah, that would have been an absolute nightmare. And I think, but for work, people's businesses, do you know what I mean?
Economies need to run. Yeah.
You know, you got mobile money that's based on. Right. It was crazy to say the least, but it was the best time. Out there, I'm glad I did it. Yeah,
I love that. That's amazing. Because it's. I actually did an election year in Kenya as well. 2017.
Nice.
Went on holiday and ended up staying.
As you do.
Let me just stay. Yeah. But like, I get what you mean, like the propaganda thing, because like your day to day is fine. It's just people abroad, people that are here now or outside of Kenya, they're fed such different information. It's so different, I guess, because of social media and fake news and all these kind of things.
Exactly. But I think I think even though we say it's fine, I'm assuming we're in particular areas we are privileged. Yeah. So we don't know, you know, it may be something else, you know, somewhere else in the country, that kind of thing. So we do have to acknowledge that.
That's true.
But yeah, other than that, it was an all right experience.
Good experience. Yeah. Okay. All right. And I guess growing up as an East African, as Ugandan in London, what was that experience like?
Now, that's a good question.
Is it because, you know, there was a time period where it was just, you know, you don't talk about being African.
That's correct.
Just, you don't acknowledge it. It's just, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. You see each other in church or whatever functions.
Shoot, you even saw them in church. I was in a all white area, so we were like the only black. Wow. We could count the amount of families on our hands. So you're lucky.
Really?
I think growing up, it was a shame. Growing up was a problem, obviously, to be African, as you said. So there's that denouncing of being African, let alone East African. I think my mum tried, bless her. I think when they, I say they, my mum and her, you know, family members, when they came over to the UK, early 90s, late 80s, they set up a community association, which I'm not sure if you guys had it as well, but a community association for our ethnic group. So to help you assimilate into the UK. But also to keep our culture intact. So we understand that we're in a new land.
Yes.
All right. And most of us have young children, or do you know what I mean? And so what they did, they tried to ensure that the young children new culture, our culture in particular, whether that be the language, whether it be tradition, the songs that I know up to now, literally because of that. But yes, and that was important, and I guess that's the foundation of the community work that I do now. Yeah, but I think
it does, isn't it? You can trace it back to that.
My mum definitely tried, but again, there's only so many events you can attend. We had, I don't know if you guys had it, but we had beach days. So during the summer, we'll go to the beach as a whole community. And that's what we remembered. A lot of me and my cousins, my family, friends, that's what we remember. You know, we have the pictures to prove and stuff like that. And our culture is very much, you know, our foundation is very much community. It's community driven.
Yes.
And so they tried for many, many years to keep that intact. But then life goes on, as you know, in the UK.
That's it.
You know, people are busy. You know, everybody's 9 to 5, focused on getting that money,
people move
surviving.
Out of the area and
Exactly. And so that's what it was. But it did what it did for the those, you know, development, those prime years.
Yes.
And I think it was crucial. So even though, as I said, it was a foundational basis, you are going back to school with your friends that you see 5 days a week, and you're ashamed because, you know, to be African.
You don't talk about it.
You don't talk about it. You're bullied about having, you know, a particular name. You're bullied about having particular features. And it was very much focused on, I don't know, Caribbean. So you try and beg to, do you know what?
Of course. I mean, we went through that whole phase.
I think we all did. Yeah, there was a collective experience that we had.
Even if you don't beg being Caribbean, you don't want to say you're African.
Yeah.
I'm saying let them assume I'm Caribbean. It's fine. Until your name gets called out in class, and that's when you're
exactly.
Like, so I get that. I get that.
And it's a shame. But I guess obviously there's been a wave. There's been a movement.
Big.
Especially when Africa has become, I don't know, much more acceptable, cooler, whatever. So, but which is fine. You know, and I guess we've ridden that. We're currently riding that wave. And we've been doing so for a long time. But it was difficult. It was difficult. I think it's only because of these community events I was able to keep in touch with my culture. I'm able to share my love for our songs or the language and stuff like that, the foods, with my family, friends and members and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had something similar as well, but I think mine was a bit of a different experience from yours because I guess even in school I had a lot of like black kids, a lot of Nigerians, Ghanaians, a couple Kenyans actually, Ugandans as well. So it was like it was a back and forth with the Caribbeans, but it was more of a friendly banter kind of thing.
Right,
like, It was more friendly, the banter, because there was a lot of us, there was a lot of them, you know what I mean? So that kind of worked out a bit better. But then at the same time, like, as a Kenyan, I'm like 1 in 3. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to talk about it too much. Like, I'm cool just being African. I'm like, I'm African. So
that's insane. And I love that.
You don't fully own your culture, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's
until like maybe you see you're at a wedding or a family function with your people them or church or something, because we did something similar as well, like, but it was mainly like church based, like going away and summer holidays and stuff, linking up, Saturday schools and that sort of thing. So that was that kind of culture thing of maintaining and learning about your culture. I do get what you mean. Yeah. And a lot of the friendships, I'm still friends with a lot of the people now.
That's wonderful.
I'm still work with them, or I'm friends with them, or we're still close. So it does help a lot.
Yeah.
It does help a lot, that foundation, building that foundation. And I don't know if it's still something that's around too much.
So again, not really.
Yeah.
We're all grown up. We're doing our own thing now. But again, for that community association, I can only speak for that because my friends who are from other parts of Uganda, they experienced something similar to yours where there was a church for their ethnic group. So the service will be in their language, for example. But whereas we didn't have that, which is fantastic, right? And so obviously they built connections and community via those different types of spaces.
Yeah.
So I mean, now we've all grown up. I think that's what the collective is trying to emulate and trying to do, right? Because a lot of us have grown up. We have friends from all different cultures. Yeah. London is a melting pot,
right?
And so
everyone.
You don't just have Ugandan friends. I only knew Ugandan. I only had like Ugandan family members.
Yeah.
I never had
friends.
Everybody was your cousin, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's only when I grew up, when I was just like, oh my gosh, hold on, you're from Uganda. Number one, we're rare.
Yeah.
So we're sticking together when we find each other.
You're my cousin now.
But then obviously, I remember like the aunties, the uncles come to me and saying, do you know what, Norah? You guys need to marry because you lot are marrying outside, which is obviously no problem at all. But they're like, Ugandans, like you guys get
There's
to...
not many of us.
Exactly. You're not cousins with so-and-so. Like, stop that kind of thing. But yeah, that's when I started finding more and more people from different parts of Uganda. And so essentially the collective was actually born out of that frustration of, everybody was stuck to their ethnic groups here in Uganda, in London, which is fine. But also, we didn't know about other ethnic groups, or we didn't integrate, and that's what the collective wanted to do. So we tried to build that again using the foundation, community foundations that lessons that we've built, we've grown up with, to kind of ensure that the collective is inclusive community space where all different types of Ugandans, whether you're minority or majority, whatever, you're a Ugandan, like we come together, you know, and we get we get to know each other, we connect and we do those things. That's why we're so heavily focused on networking.
I love that.
You know, because you can't do all of this, you can't support businesses, you can't, you know, attend people's events if you don't know each other.
Right.
You know, so I said to myself, let me put everybody in the room. You can learn about each other's cultures. You can only do that by having a conversation
and being together.
Exactly.